We have rhinos versus cars. We have rhinos versus people. We have rhinos versus cheetah cubs. Heck, we even have rhinos versus rhinos. But first, the double rhino chase is one of the rarest and most exhilarating rhino videos on the internet. You see, the couple that was filming these two animals was on their honeymoon. They visited the Thula Thula Game Reserve located in South Africa. While they were sightseeing inside their vehicle, the group came across two rhinos, and then the two rhinos began chasing the vehicle. Scared for their lives, the newlyweds and the tour guide stepped on the gas pedal and tried to escape, but the two rhinos were right on their tail. They pursued them for about 1.5 miles. It's rare to see rhinos chase a vehicle for this long because they tire quickly and their vision is not the sharpest. For additional protection, there's a game guard assigned to each rhino at the reserve, and this person is employed to follow the rhinos around and never let them out of their sight. The rhinos are under 24/7 supervision, limiting the risk of poachers. Next up, we have the elephant-rhino brawl. Despite being bigger, the elephant will have difficulty taking down an opponent as tough as the rhino. As you may already know, the rhino's skin can be up to 2 inches thick. Some rhinos weigh around 3 tons, which makes them a formidable opponent. And let's not forget about their horn. The horn of the rhino is made of keratin, just like our nails and bear's claws, and it's nearly unbreakable. It's anchored deep into their thick hide and supported by some of the most powerful neck muscles on the planet, adapted for stabbing upwards. Being shorter than the elephant makes the rhino a dangerous opponent. The 6-ton elephant is almost double the weight of this female rhino and is also a lot taller. But as far as attacks go, the only thing the elephant can do is tip the rhino over and then crush it with their own weight. Other than that, this battle is fairly even. But the elephant's height and weight seem to be a great advantage in this battle. The elephant succeeded in tipping the female rhino over, but she escaped just in time. After a fierce brawl, the female rhino realized she couldn't win the battle, so she retreated. A team of 12 people couldn't contain this angry rhino. Rhinoceroses are extremely aggressive. They'll charge at anything they think poses a threat to them. About 50% of male rhinos die in fights against other male rhinos. For females, that number is slightly lower, but it's still high when compared to other animals and stands at 30%. So in a way, rhinos need to see an anger management therapist. Now imagine what a mother rhino will do when a group of professionals is trying to put her and her cub in a giant transportation cage. She was extremely aggressive, and she smashed that like button just like you should do if you haven't done so already. But no, in all seriousness, because she was so angry, the mother rhino attacked one of the team members trying to get her inside the cage. Worried that they might get injured, the people inside jumped out and quickly closed the doors. When they arrived at the rhino's new home, about 10 tamers were on top of the container, fearing the angry female would tip it over, while 2 others quickly opened the doors. The rhino calf ran to freedom, but his mom wasn't too happy. She hung around the cage for a while before running away. We think she wanted to give him a piece of her mind. On a busy Saturday night, this rhino wandered in the middle of Chitwan, Nepal, and it was casually strolling with the locals. The people couldn't believe what they were seeing, but they all took out their phones to film it. Cars and motorbikes were stuck in traffic and followed this animal very carefully. Only one brave guy on a motorbike decided to pass the rhino, and weirdly enough, this giant animal didn't even care. Thankfully, there were no injuries, and the horned animal returned to the wilderness. These 2 curious cheetah cubs decided to attack a rhino. Little did they know the rhino wasn't going to just drop dead and let the 2 cubs eat him. The 2 cheetahs, Sambu and Toki, became orphans when they were little and were raised in captivity. The goal was to turn Sambu and Toki from cheetah cubs that behave like kittens into powerful predators, and their plan seemed to be working. But they got a little too ambitious. Instead of chasing warthogs and gazelles, they went for the top-shelf meal, a rhino. We thought their inexperience was cute, but the rhino didn't think so. The cheetahs thought that because the prey was big, it was also slow. Little did they know, rhinos are extremely fast. They can run at speeds up to 25 miles per hour. Sure, they're too slow to damage a fast cheetah, but the camera crew standing in the open got a little scared, so they decided to move their filming equipment a little farther away. You know, just in case. A rhino and an elephant walk into a bar. It seems like the start of a really great joke, but this actually happened in Saraha village. One of the locals was riding an elephant to work. You know, the usual. But then a rhino appeared. The people around were scared to approach the rhinoceros because they feared it would attack them. A few people on bikes rode really fast to pass the wild animal. Thankfully, the rhino didn't attack anyone or anything, so it was all good. This is what tank-level power looks like. We don't know who thought this would be a good idea, but they put a guy in a reinforced car, painted it to resemble a zebra, and put it inside the rhino enclosure. Guess what the rhino did? It didn't think the car was a zebra, it thought the car was an intimidating enemy, so it took one look at the vehicle and charged straight at it. It turned the car upside down with one turn of the head. All that rolling afterward was just a bonus. In the end, the car driver stopped trying to escape, which seemed to calm down the rhino, but there was still one problem. The driver was stuck inside. The only way to get him out was to bring another car in that looked identical to the first and distract the rhino. This way, the first driver escaped while the second car chased the animal around the enclosure. And during this whole fiasco, there's an ostrich in the background pretending it doesn't see anything. About 14 years ago, in December 2008, a group of friends went on safari in Cape Town. They were with Fairy Glen Safari, and the guides took them out to see the local rhinos. But it was 2008, and cars were fairly loud, especially these sightseeing trucks. Because the truck was making so much noise, the rhino saw it as a threat and charged the vehicle. The people's screams scared the rhinoceros and it kept attacking it. Then it seemed like it would retreat, but the animal came back and started shoving and pushing the truck's exhaust pipe. Luckily, it didn't flip the truck, and the tourists, along with the guides, left unharmed. Let's not forget about the mama versus the papa rhino. This male rhino wanted to mate with the female. However, the male only wanted to protect her little calf. She wasn't interested in caring for another baby, so they got into a brawl. The running raised a lot of dust, and in the fog, the mama couldn't see her calf. The baby rhino was now in serious trouble. Even though the mother is fairly strong and no one in the animal kingdom wants to mess with them, this male rhino easily lifts her rear end. The mother's in a very dangerous situation because if the rhino punctures her inch-thick hide, her calf could be in serious trouble. As the dust settles, the rhino bull realizes the female will not give in, so he leaves them alone, admitting defeat. The rhino comes back for revenge. This giant mother elephant was guiding her young through the jungle, but then they came across a giant rhino. In one of the previous videos, we saw a rhino retreating, but this time, it's the elephant who's scared. Thankfully, the rhino let the mother elephant and the cubs pass with no problems. The rhino waited patiently for everyone to cross, and then he slowly retreated into the thicket. YouTube thinks you should watch this video next.